All right, welcome to the first ever Seam Buster podcast, starring the one and only Justin by God Prater. Yours truly, Gordon Lewis over here. Big show today. First show, big show though. We got a lot to talk about. We're in the throes of March Madness here.
Oh yeah,
we've passed the Ides of March, and now it's time to. Whew, man, lots to talk about with college basketball. Let's dive right in. So a lot of big games today, Justin. A lot of big games today, and I want to start with Oregon, Iowa. So yesterday, I did a
whoa,
I did a bit on my own, and I actually commented, and I stand by this, that Oregon hadn't played in a while. They got through on the COVID protocol. Again, totally understand it. You gotta do what you gotta do in these days, in this particular format. But I thought they might deal with some rust. I thought Iowa looked okay.
Oh no,
in their first round. Man, 95 to 80. I mean,
and that's closer than it really was, honestly.
No, I know. I mean, this is one of those games that like 15 points was like may as well have been 25 points, right?
Yeah, I think it was at some point. I don't know what the biggest margin of
what the largest margin. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it was insane to see that score because I was like, wow, I didn't anticipate that. Good on Oregon. Oregon came ready to play. A lot of prep went into that. Definitely a lot of attention to detail by these players. Kind of goes back to what I said last night in my other podcast. My other little quick bit on YouTube. You can look me up over there. Sunday Shorts. Quick little plug. But I talked about, we've learned a lot about college basketball players in particular, both men and women, this March. They've dealt with a lot just to get here. I mean, canceled practices last year. The tournament was canceled games. Again, canceled games, even in the tournament this year for Oregon. Still came prepared to play. Excellent job by that program. From top down, excellent job. I got to give them all the credit in the world.
Bravo Ducks. Bravo.
Yeah. Bravo Ducks.
It's one of those things, I was getting the alerts on my phone, and first time I got a big alert, I was like, whoa. I was like, that is a big, weird upset.
It jumps off the screen to you. It really does.
Got another one. I was like, wow.
Absolutely. Man. Even if you go back and look at it now, to me, I go back and look at the score now, and I'm like, geez, 95 to 80. I mean, you don't see a lot of 90-plus point games in the NCAA tournament. Keep that in mind. I want to point that out. Keep that in mind because later we're going to get into the women's basketball, and I'm going to blow your mind. So, I mean, I'm still flabbergasted by this. Oklahoma versus Gonzaga, right? Mm-hmm. Admittedly, I lean a bit Big 12. I think the Big 12 was really good this year. I don't think anybody can really argue that they weren't good, but Gonzaga, they win by 16. They handled business. I gotta ask, man, are they title bound? I mean, are they really title bound?
I think they're Final Four bound for sure.
I agree with that.
Especially in that bracket, I think they're Final Four bound for sure.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I'm just, man, it just seems so wild to think that these guys could be, that they could be all that in a bag of chips, as it were.
Oh yeah.
Ohio. Well, okay, so we got to talk about.
I used to drive to Spokane, Washington every week.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah, I would drive. And I actually before that never knew that Gonzaga was in Spokane, Washington. I thought it was in California, but pretty cool little town, and you can see the university you can see the campus from the highway. So, but it's definitely isolated, kind of by itself out there in eastern Washington, on the kind of close to the border of Idaho. So
yeah, they're definitely doing things out there, though. I mean, I give them that. These guys are handling business, and that's March, right? Now, unfortunately, we got to do a little bit of heartbreak with some of the Cinderella teams. Ohio and Abilene Christian both lose today. Abilene Christian by 20 to UCLA.
Yeah.
I don't know if that says more about UCLA
or UT.
Yeah, or Texas. And if I'm honest with you, I don't really want to dig into that because I feel like that's a lot of conjecture. I thought UCLA looked pretty good, but
one thing you and me talked about before, right before that game happened, actually, Abilene versus GT, that is that we knew little brother was going to come to play against big brother.
Little brother definitely.
I think that's kind of what we saw there, because it seemed to get beat by 20 by UCLA. It's kind of like, well, they kind of came to do what they wanted to do with Texas, and maybe lost a little of that magic. But
big chip on the shoulder coming into the Texas game, no doubt about that. You can't deny that. I mean, there's not a team in the state of Texas that doesn't want to take down UT in any sport, right? Like, I mean, A&M wants to beat them. Like, give A&M a chance, and they'll try and come after them.
And one thing on Abilene Christian, I think they've only been D1 for 4 years.
I think it is 4 years. Yeah, I think it is 4 years.
I believe it was their first NCAA tournament win.
Yep.
And so, I mean, hats off to Abilene Christian. I think they had a great year, considering. I mean, yeah, they lost the second round, but they won their first tournament game, and they took down Big Brother going at it. So, I mean,
well, and not for nothing, and I hate to kick UT while they're down, but
no, I don't.
Well, I really do, because I think they have a quality program, and Shaka Smart is catching 7 kinds of hell, and I don't know if it's warranted or not. There's a lot that goes into it. I don't think coaching at certain schools in any sport is as black and white as we like to make it, right? I don't think being the head coach for University of Alabama is as black and white as we like to make it as fans. There's a lot of schools like that. Texas certainly falls into that. We've seen a lot of really good football coaches go to Texas and struggle and eventually leave without really achieving anything.
Yeah.
Shaka Smart has no wins in the NCAA tournament in his tenure at Texas. Yeah. And now Abilene Christian.
Probably the best squad he's had this year, you think?
Arguably. Yeah, I would say arguably. I mean, they had a good squad. They definitely
3 seed, man. They were a 3 seed.
They were. Part of that was because they won the Big 12 tournament. But, one of the teams they beat in the tournament was Tech. They beat them by 1 point. By the way, they were swept by Tech in the regular season. So, including a loss at home. So, I mean, you're kind of splitting hairs in the way that these rankings work, right? But I think the takeaway here really is that, listen, there's been that the first round saw plenty of upsets, right?
As always.
Abilene Christian, Ohio lost to Creighton today, 72-58. I think Creighton looked good in that game. I think Creighton is a team that, is somebody to keep an eye on. I think they're certainly a team that's trying to make a run. I think they've got enough talent to do it, certainly. And, man, now I got to be honest. The LSU-Michigan game surprised me for a couple of reasons. Number one, Michigan was really tested. Really. I mean, at one point they were tied in the second half, and it was like, man, is Michigan going to pull this out? And then they did. They ended up winning by 8.
8, yep. 86-78, yep.
86-78. I think, man, I think that says a lot about Michigan. I think anytime that in the tournament, you can take on a team that's a quality team. I thought LSU brought a quality team to the tournament. I don't think they snuck in under any, strange auspices or anything like that. I think they got in and they looked good. They gave Michigan a run.
Played a tough conference,
They do. But I think Michigan definitely showed their mettle today. Let's be honest, the Big Ten has not exactly done fantastic in this tournament. But Michigan looked, I think Michigan might be for real, man. I mean, I do know a couple of people that would be super thrilled to see them make it to the national championship because they're huge Michigan fans. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I see Michigan in there. I wouldn't be surprised. I know for a fact one of my good friends has Michigan versus Gonzaga. I really wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
To me, if I'm honest, the surprise for me today was Colorado, Florida State. Colorado looked really good in the opening round. Strong win. Big. I thought Colorado in the first round may have, I thought, hey, maybe they'll face, a pretty tough, test. Of course, if I'm honest, part of that is the fact that, you always kind of hope for an upset in the first round, right? Like that's kind of just, and to be fair, there was a lot of those provided. I like a 12-5 upset. I thought Georgetown really had a shot. Colorado handled them easily, 96-73 against Georgetown in the opening round. I know that Florida State looked really good in the first round. Florida State beat UNC Greensboro by 10. I think UNC Greensboro looked really strong. But just I really thought Colorado was going to make this a really tight game. I really thought they were going to pull it out. Florida State, 71-53 victory. I was really impressed with how Florida State looked today, if I'm honest with you. I thought Florida State looked really strong. I thought Florida State came to play, and I thought Florida State was like, hey, man, prepare yourselves. We're here. They came to chop some heads.
In my initial bracket before the game started, I have Florida State in the Elite Eight against Bama. I have them beating Michigan, in the Sweet 16. So it's good to see that's panning out for me. But yeah, I kind of believed in Florida State. I actually think they have a chance to beat Michigan, but we'll see.
I thought they were a good team, and I do look forward. Actually, if I'm honest with you, especially after this game, I do look forward to the Michigan game.
Yeah,
for them. I think it's going to be a big game. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I think Florida State Michigan is definitely going to be one to watch. Sunday, March 28th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. I think it's going to be a big one. I think it's going to be fun to watch. Bama, Maryland, man, Tide is rolling, baby. 96-77.
Oh, yeah.
Woo. I mean, what can you say? What do you say about that? Right? Like, how can you comment on that?
I think they've done what they're supposed to do so far in the tournament. And
I agree. I mean, they
need to go beat UCLA. I mean, that's where they're supposed to be in the Elite Eight. They're a 2 seed. So
they are a 2 seed. But let's be honest, man. This tournament has been full of upsets. It's been full of almost. I mean, Texas was a 3 seed. They lost Stavley Christian as a 14. Yes, by 1, but they lost in the opening round. So this tournament hasn't been full of supposed tos. It's been full of, they're close. But yeah, I thought go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't going to beat you while you were down, but after I rewatched the Texas Tech game versus Arkansas, I have to say they really let that one slip away from them. They did. We did. Layups at the end, the missed free throws. I mean, it was hard to watch there at the end, bud. Sorry.
No, it was hard to watch.
They let it slip away.
A lot of that team looks to come back, and if they do, all I can say is watch out. Any Chris Beard fielded team, watch out. However,
I could see the disappointment on Chris Beard's face when he realized it set in. He's like, oh, he was like,
yeah.
I was like,
but you know what,
let that one go, boys.
But you know what, man? At the end of the day, you take your L's, you keep moving. But that's Beard. If Beard loses a single game, he has that face.
Yep.
And that's the kind of coach you want, though. I think that's what makes guys like Mike Krzyzewski. That's what makes guys like Gino Auriemma. That's what makes guys like John Wooden. If they lose a game, it doesn't matter what game, they're not happy. They're not going home like, hey, you know what? Chris Beard's proud of his guys. He didn't like it. He didn't.
Yeah, I'm sure he's proud of his guys, but I can tell you this one's going to stick in his crawl until next year.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to stick in his crawl.
Because it's one thing to lose. That game was theirs to take, and they had 2 missed layups in the last
couple minutes. Yeah,
30
seconds. Yeah,
less 30 seconds. 2 missed layups. The last shot of the game looked like he could have made that pretty easily. I don't know if there was a foul there. I mean, it kind of looked like in real time like it probably was a foul, but
yeah.
It looked like he could have made that shot.
Tough game to lose.
He could have got that and won. So,
but it was one of those games, and Chris Beard said this. It's one of those games where it could go either way, and you hope for those games when you're watching March Madness. You hope for those games. Unfortunately, you don't hope for your team to be in those games, and you certainly don't hope for your team to lose those games, right? But
yeah,
at the end of the day, I'm okay with it. It does sting, but there's been a lot of good basketball this year. This March has been very exciting for me, and I think a lot of people.
Yeah. I think we should touch on North Texas. Hats off to them. They did lose to Villanova 81, but
They did.
They won their first NCAA tournament game this year against Purdue. I believe that was their first NCAA tournament victory.
That was their first, and it was a
4. Still a good year.
Yeah. Last game today, I thought that was worth note. Last game today, USC Kansas. USC 85, Kansas 61.
I told you before, I'm a USC believer. I think they're a good team, man.
No, I mean, I gotta listen. It's not that I didn't believe. It's that, the first round is
smashed Kansas, smashed them.
Yeah, but when you smash Kansas in the second round, okay, I believe.
And it sets up beautifully because they get to play their big rival Oregon in the next round. So it's going to be really fun to watch. USC versus Oregon, 6 versus 7.
Yep. That's going to be that's going to be a fun game. That's going to be
Pac-12 rivalry is going to be on display. It's going
to be a fun game to watch.
But yeah.
And at the Pac-10 now? Didn't they change the Pac-10?
Excuse me. I'm an old school guy.
Yeah, same. That's why I was like, didn't they change? Okay, so I want to touch
before. Sorry to interrupt you, but talked about before. Like I still call the Oakland Raiders and the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Seattle Seahawks or not the Seattle Seahawks, the San Diego Chargers. Seattle Sonics. Yeah. Okay, so I want to touch on women's college basketball, because we talked about earlier how there's been a lot of really big upsets on the men's side. There's been some big upsets on the women's side too. Number 13, Wright State took down number 4, Arkansas. Right? That's a big one. Number 11, BYU took down number 6, Rutgers. That's not a huge upset, but an 11-6, I mean, that's a pretty big one.
Noteworthy.
Yeah, it's definitely worth. Number 12, Belmont taking down a number 5 ranked Gonzaga. Also, one of the things, if you're not looking at the women's tournament, man, there's a lot of fun basketball being played. I gotta ask you, Justin, as an A&M guy, y'all have a big test coming up against Iowa State. I think it could be a fun one. I think it could be a real fun one to watch. Iowa State beat Michigan State 79-75. You guys beat Troy 84-80.
Yeah, barely snuck one in there.
Well, I mean, neither of those games was a runaway, right? Like, yeah, you guys are a number 2 rank. You are the number 2 seeded team.
Yeah, our girls are representing for us this year because sorry guys, but didn't even make the tourney.
Yeah, not ideal, but it happens.
Yeah, we're definitely cheering our girls on, and we get the old Big 12 rivalry against Iowa State.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun game.
They need to win this game just for the sake of A&M fans. But what I think, if we talk about Baylor, I think with their first win against Jackson State, they won 101-52, and we're going to talk about another big victory after this. But with Baylor winning 101-52 against Jackson State, we might see men's and women's title pairing from the same school. Baylor.
I mean, yeah, it's possible. It really is.
It'd be kind of cool, huh? Has that ever happened before? We should find out. I don't know.
I
can see maybe UConn, right? UConn.
Yeah, I think maybe UConn. I think maybe UConn. So my game to watch coming up is going to be number 8 Oklahoma State versus number 1 Stanford. And the reason I picked this game, it's going to be the 23rd, right? Which is today. It's going to be tonight, actually, at 8 o'clock.
8 Central.
Well, yeah. By the way, it's 12:20, so we're just out here doing our thing.
12:20 out here in Texas.
Good old San Antonio, handling all the business. Stanford won 87-44 over Utah State. Right, handled business first round. Oklahoma State looked good against Wake Forest. Oklahoma State won 84-61. It's not like Oklahoma State went quietly into the good night. They were like, hey, we brought our guns too. I think it's going to be a big game, man. I really think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I think if you want to watch 2 teams that can score, 2 teams that definitely came to play, 2 teams that are prepared, I think this could be a good game. I think it should be. I think it has the potential to be. And in March, you can never tell. I mean, listen.
I'll take Stanford by 15, Gordon.
Hey, you know what, though? And here's the thing. I thought the Colorado-Florida game was good. The Florida State and Colorado game was going to be way closer. So you never know. I thought it was going to be, really, I thought it was going to be a couple points, maybe 8 tops. Shows what I know. But I really thought it was going to be a closer game. I think that's kind of how March goes. But I that's the game that I'm really zoomed in on pretty specifically. So hit the comments below. Let me know what game you're wanting to see. What's your ideal matchup between men and women, or men's and women's side? I really am curious to see, if you could have picked 2 teams, they can already be knocked out. I'd actually take that too. Because I really wanted to see Tech play Michigan. I really thought Tech, of course, a Tech guy, admittedly. That defense, man, when they are clicking, whew, and when that offense is grooving, but Michigan is really good. So I really wanted to see that game. Okay. This next bit is 100% in honor of my dad. I've been keeping up with UConn women's basketball, not necessarily by choice, for probably since I was in high school, I guess. So 15, 16 years now. No, more than that, because I was in high school when he started really getting into it. For a long time now. My dad refers to UConn. Yeah, we're getting old, bud. My dad refers to UConn as the machine.
They are.
And I've always kind of laughed at it because, they're good, but to call a team the machine is a bold statement. UConn beat High Point University 102-59.
Oh yeah.
They rolled. They rolled.
Mm-hmm.
They play Syracuse next. Yeah, Baylor. And that's the deal. And I've said for a while, my only complaint about women's basketball has ever really been that there for a while I felt like if you knew anything about women's basketball, you had a solid chance to pick the Elite 8 year in and year out. And you didn't have to track each year. You just had to know
Stanford, UConn, Tennessee, you got your
Baylor, Tennessee.
Baylor.
You could pick out a significant chunk of some of the better teams. I think that's changing some. And I really am happy to see that, because I got to be honest, the women's game is vastly different from the men's. If you want to see a team game, if you want to see some very, very talented individuals who play a very different style of basketball, you need to watch these guys, these ladies, excuse me.
For sure.
Can anyone stop the machine? Really, at this point, can anyone stop the machine?
It's rare. It's rare that it happens. Honestly, it's more rare.
Expected. I was thinking about this the other day. I can't imagine what it would be like if you went to UConn and you played for Gino Auriemma and you played 4 years and you didn't win a national championship. You would be considered a failure.
Oh yeah.
And that's not a knock on anybody. That's just, they would think it is, they would think they were a failure. Period. They would say oh, you failed. You didn't win a national championship. Just the level of expectations and the fact that they're able to meet these expectations year in and year out is mind-boggling to me, if I'm completely honest with you guys. I
like the matchup with Syracuse. Not necessarily that Syracuse is going to win that game or anything, but it's just that East Coast thing. If they're going to be high level, and then also what I think is pretty cool about the women's game. I think it's tomorrow. I'm gonna check, but Alabama just beat Maryland in the men's pretty handily.
Yep.
And now the Alabama girls are playing the Maryland girls, and that's pretty cool. So maybe they have a chance to avenge their loss. So it's pretty neat that when you get the same 2 teams playing men's and women's. It is.
I agree with that.
Win one for the boys.
Yeah. Win one for the Gipper. Win one for the boy. Hey, the boys got beat. Yeah. Hey, you know what? We'll pick you guys up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Like I said, I wanted to touch on that because can anybody stop the machine that is UConn? Really,
it's gonna be hard.
So,
but I want to get into these. I want to get into these Sweet 16 games coming up, bud. On the
Oh,
men's
yeah, I was
side.
about to say, on
Some
the men's
juicy
side,
matchups coming up.
looking
Juicy.
ahead, just kind of glancing ahead a little bit. We're
it's coming up. It's gonna be here quick.
Oregon State, Loyola, Chicago. I think it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Because you got two kind of Cinderellas there.
Here's the deal. I'm not calling Loyola a Cinderella, and I said that they're an 8 seed. I said this last night.
They beat a 1, man.
That's the thing. They didn't just beat a 1. They dominated Illinois from the whistle. They never looked like they didn't have control of the game. They never. I mean, I don't know what Sister Jean is praying about over there.
Illinois made it close a few times, but yeah.
Illinois made it close a few times, but man, to win by 13 as a number 8 seed against a number 1 seed, I'm not considering you as a Cinderella. I consider you, listen, you bought, paid for, now Oregon State, maybe
a Cinderella. Over there blessing them. Bless them.
Sister Jean definitely blessing them. Oregon State has proven to be a pretty tough opponent, right? Oregon State is not out here like they beat Oklahoma State by 10. I watched that game. Oklahoma State had chances at the end. It was a closer than 10-point game. If I'm honest with you, a lot of that came down to Oklahoma State trying to score late. They kind of got away from what they had done to bring the game close, and I think that cost them in the end. But Oregon State won, right? It went in advance, as Jimmy V said. God rest that man.
Oregon State beating Tennessee. I was that was a lot of people's 12-5 upset there because the way Tennessee was playing, the way Oregon State was playing. But I didn't necessarily expect them to go and beat Oklahoma State, and because Cade Cunningham on Oklahoma State, dude, from Arlington, Texas, I believe.
I believe you're correct. If you do not know that name, ladies and gentlemen, write it down, take a picture, and pray to God that your team gets a hold of him in the NBA because he will make a difference.
Projected top 3, probably maybe be the overall first number. First overall pick.
That young man is going to change some teams' fortunes in some way. God, I hope he doesn't go to the Knicks because I don't think anybody can change their fortunes. Just saying.
Yeah. A lot of scouts are calling this guy like Luka 2.0. So
I have heard that. So, like I said, I think he can change a team wherever he goes. Villanova, Baylor. I mean, Nova's been pretty good.
Rolling.
Nova's been pretty good.
Nova's been good, but Baylor's rolling, bud.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about some machines. I think once you get going, Baylor has kind of impressed me. I was curious how Baylor was going to do because Baylor did, they had a lot of games canceled or postponed because of COVID this year.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk around the Big 12, how many of these, because let's be honest, guys, the Big 12 had a lot of top 25 ranked teams. So
Big 12 was stout this year.
Yeah. I mean, when you don't play a game, you have a good chance, you don't play 3 games. There's a good chance you're not playing a top 25 ranked team at that point. Like in those 3 games, There's a good chance you're not playing a top 25 ranked team. So I've been really impressed with Baylor. Villanova has looked pretty good. I got to be honest with you. Another team that has really impressed me has been Houston. H-Town has handled business.
Real quick on Baylor.
Yeah.
Baylor is going to go as far as their 3-point shooting will take them. And luckily for them,
I agree with that.
They've been the best 3-point shooting team in college this year.
Yeah.
So, but you know how that goes. And this is win or go home, single game elimination. So, if they go dry, they could lose at any time because that's really their game is to shoot the 3. And they do it good. So
they do it very well.
They can dry up.
They do very well. I think the Syracuse-Houston game is going to be good. Syracuse has, Syracuse beat West Virginia by 3 as an 11 seed. Houston is a 2 seed, but Houston has gotten here. They've handled the business. H-Town's holding it down. I mean, they came to play. And,
I had Houston in my pre-tournament Final Four. So.
Admittedly, occasionally I fall into the trap of like, oh, this team won a first round game by 10 or they won it by 1 or whatever. I fall into that trap of kind of going, well, they won pretty big. Like, I think they're going to continue that momentum. But March is so strange because the momentum, these games are clustered, but they're a microcosm because everything that happens within the game, and then you get some momentum. So like, you could roll through the end of the game and you just crush it at the end of the game. Your meter's not all the way full. Your momentum meter is not all the way full when you leave that game. You're getting to take a part of that with you, but only a fraction of it. I think that's going to be a big one. I think it'll be a fun game to watch. Oral Roberts, Arkansas, for me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to me, Oral Roberts is the Cinderella in this tournament. I love that Cinderella is still at the ball. She's still dancing.
Well, you know why you want Oral Roberts to win. You quit lying.
No, actually, I will say this. I laughed about this the other day, and I actually talked about this in my clip last night. If Arkansas can somehow, and I don't think it's going to happen, but if Arkansas somehow manages to win the national championship, that means Chris Beard will be 9-3 in the tournament, and all 3 of his losses will be to the eventual national championship, the eventual national champion. So it's not the end of the world, right? But 2 out of 3 ain't bad either. So, yeah, I'm rooting for Will Roberts because they're Cinderella. And who? I mean, come on, man. Let's just hope that pumpkin doesn't turn into a pumpkin until after midnight, after they cut the nets down. Who doesn't want to see a 15 seed win the national championship? This is what makes the
madness. I mean, everyone remembers the Florida Gulf Coast run of
the UMCB, Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, UMCB, yeah. But Florida Gulf Coast in particular was a 15.
Yeah, Florida Gulf Coast was. Yeah, you're right. VCU. They made it to a Final Four under Shaka Smart, and they were, they were not a high seed.
I think they were 13.
I think they were a 13 seed. So, I mean, but see, somebody posted this on Twitter, and for the life of me, I can't find it. I wish I could. They said, hey, listen, UNT, Oral Roberts, Loyola Chicago, these teams that you're rooting for that are these University of Ohio, Abilene Christian. Did I lose
Are we back? I don't know. I seem to be fine on my end, but
okay.
I think you might have dropped, but we're back. We're back at it.
Maybe. Yeah, we're back. So, but they were talking about all of these different schools that are playing that are smaller schools that everybody's rooting for, right? Like we're all rooting for these small schools.
We want to see Cinderella, yeah.
And in the meantime, college football has 4 teams, and they all seem to be like the same 3 with maybe an additional 4th every year. And I was like, well, yeah, you're right. Okay. I hate that that person was right. But also, yeah, you're right. Like, I think the NCAA football needs to figure something out. We need to expand that. That's a whole different bag of worms. I don't really want to get into it.
Well, it needs to be 8 teams.
At least. You
can take a lot of the crying away. I know that 9 and 10 will still cry, but you're kind of like, well, I mean, there's a lot of times you might think, well, 5 or 6, the 5th or 6th team that gets left out of NCAA football, you're thinking, well, they might have had a chance to knock somebody off,
Yeah, for sure.
And so I don't. It's so easy for them to make it 8. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's really not that hard. So I don't know why they don't do that. So there's your wrap up on NCAA basketball as a whole. It's a lot of excitement this March. Man, I missed last March. There's a certain air that hits America during March. And,
madness.
It's a madness. You get St. Patrick's Day in there. I think it's the perfect. It's absolutely. Like, I cannot stress how perfect that holiday is for the madness that descends upon the United States during this time.
Yeah. Also, it it signifies you kind of coming out of winter for most places in the United States. It's kind of like, hey, it's time to start partying, man. The weather's about to get nice. We made it through winter, especially here in Texas. We made it through winter apocalypse or snowmageddon, whatever you want to call it.
Hell. Well, I mean, we can call it whatever you want, but like hell, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, that's a whole different bag of worms too.
We might get into that, and we might do a little convo podcast and talk about.
We might do something like that. Yeah, we might have to.
But for now, we'll keep it sports.
Comment below if you'd like us to rip on ERCOT for, I don't know, however many beers we can hand.
For it. And we will rip politicians, both sides of the aisle. We're here for that too.
Happily. I got enough beer to do it. All right.
Any representative, we will happily rip for y'all.
Yeah, for sure.
Either side.
Okay. Quick question on pro baseball. I don't want to talk a lot about pro baseball because I'm not a huge spring training guy. I think it's important. I think it's incredibly important for the players, for the teams.
Absolutely.
I don't think it teaches a fan jack diddly. No. And I had this conversation with a guy at work. We were talking about it, and I said, "Here's what I think about it. In pro football, camp matters, right? Number one, camp is much more condensed. There's also big, preseason games, scrimmages, whatever you want to call them, glorified, scrimmages. But in baseball, it's so easy to change your roster. I mean, your opening day roster is almost like it's wide out. I mean, it's not even wide out. It's dry erase, right? Like it's written in like dry erase because if you don't like your squad, I mean, within a month, without trading people, within a month, you can change your squad immediately, like completely. So, in my opinion, it doesn't tell you a lot. And I wanted to ask you, Justin, do you think you can actually tell anything worthy of note about your team from spring training? Like, do you think that's even a possible thing?
Well, you can get certain guys that step up and you'll be like, okay, wasn't expecting that.
Okay, I'll take that. I will take that.
You'll get these also. I think like IKF, Isaiah kind of Falefa for you guys that aren't Rangers fans. Isaiah kind of Fleffen.
Huge fan.
He kind of showed up a couple years ago and was kind of like, hey, I'm here to play spring training. But then you also get Rougned Odor for Texas fans who hits like over 400 every spring training. And you think, oh, this is the year. Here he comes. It's going to be, he's going to live up to that contract. And then the scouting reports come in, the pitching coaches come in.
Yeah,
and the dude hitting below the Mendoza line again. So, I mean, you can take what you can from it. A lot of times, we know pitchers are just really working on stuff. There's not really a game plan or an attack plan against the hitters. They're working stuff out. So you might get a young guy jump up, show you something. You might say, hey, that guy might make the team, but you can also take a little too much from it. Like if you watched Odor the past few spring trainings, you're thinking, oh, here it comes. And then no, not happening.
So we're going to take a break here in just a second, but I want to really quickly sort of talk about the Mendoza line because the Mendoza line it's 200, right? It's batting average 200. Right. And I learned this a few weeks ago because it's named for Mario Mendoza, who was a shortstop for, hold on, I looked it up a second ago. For the Pittsburgh Pirates. But what I found interesting, and the reason I wanted to touch on this, it's 200. So those who don't know baseball, if you are a 200 hitter, that's the Mendoza line. That's like basically the lowest acceptable level if you're a decent defensive player, or a good defensive player. But Mendoza's career average was actually 215.
Yeah, 215.
Which is not, I mean, we're not talking like monstrous improvement, but it's funny that we said it. We're like, points. Yeah, I mean, 15 points, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the difference.
If someone hit 285 and then
I was just about to say that's the difference between 285 and 300. That's the difference between 285 and 300.
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength here.
But it was really interesting to me that it's like, man, y'all are gonna name something after this guy and shave 15 points off. You're gonna be like, hey, listen, those 15 points, bud, not enough. Not enough.
Yeah. Also, poor guy in those birth control glasses he wore. If anyone wants to Google Mario Mendoza, it's a pretty sweet 70s.
Oh yeah, definitely
birth control glasses he has on there.
Definitely a guy who was living in his time and space. So we're gonna take a break here. We'll be back on the other side. When we come back, we're gonna talk some NBA basketball, especially Dallas Mavericks. And a lot of big stars being injured. Kind of want to touch base on that. Woo! The NBA is
trade deadline coming up too, and we'll hit a little bit on NFL free agency and maybe some draft prospects, but probably stick to free agency for now.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll see you guys in a bit.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, the ambiance has changed to blue because we're going to the blue zone. It's NBA, NFL. So we're going to hit the NBA over the past couple of days, and we're just going to run through these scores real quick, Gordon, and we'll touch on some. Yeah, we'll touch on some important games. No offense if we leave your team out, but it means you might be falling behind in the standings. But we'll try to hit most of them here, and then we'll get into some NFL transactions, free agencies, and trades and stuff. Since the official league year has rolled over, the trades are officials, the contracts are official. So
that's right.
That's happening now.
That Twitter trolling was next level by the Colts, and they're like, Colts who was it? He was like, Colts expected to announce a blockbuster trade today for a quarterback, and it was like, fuck you, bro. Excuse the F-bomb drop, but like they were like, hey, people were like, bro, for real, we know it's
Carson Wentz coming to save the day.
We know it's wins. Like,
all right. Touching on the NBA real quick, we're going to start with my Dallas Mavericks because they blew the doors off of the Trailblazers, 132-92. They beat the Trailblazers by 40, and I'm pretty sure, pretty sure the Mavericks pulled everyone after 3, and they still won by 40.
Yeah.
So, they outscored the Blazers 38-15 in the third quarter alone. So that was pretty huge. I believe they lost to the Blazers a couple days ago. So
they did.
It's a good bounce back win. And we'll go into the box here real quick. And Luka, he played 30 minutes, only 30 minutes. He's 8 of 9 from 3. And if we can get any kind of consistency,
didn't he start something like 5 for 5 or something ludicrous like that?
He started actually 8 of 8.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah. And then he missed his 9th. Yeah. Okay. My bad. I just remember him like starting off like wicked nasty hot. And I was like, somebody buy this man like a beer or something, like cool him down a little bit. That's dangerous.
Oh yeah. Luka was on full display.
All I could hear was the old NBA Jam. Oh my, he's on fire. That's all I could hear in my head. Like I was like, he's still going.
Marv Albert, he's on fire.
Exactly. That's all I could hear. Over and over.
Okay, so Luka had 37 total points, but he was 8 of 9 from 3 and 13 of 19 from the field total, and that's only in 30 minutes. Richardson also put in 21 points, and that was in 30 minutes. The bench had pretty good games from Hardaway. Dwight Powell had a pretty good game, and a lot of the backups got to play in there in the fourth quarter. But Luka was a plus 24. Porzingis was a plus 30. Finney-Smith was a plus 32, and Richardson was a plus 29. So the Mavs balled out. It was a good win for them. So there's a little shout out to my Dallas Mavericks, and hopefully getting on track. We're going to make a good playoff push here, get everybody healthy. They're looking like they're playing pretty good basketball, and they have the easiest remaining schedule of any NBA team.
We have talked about this a couple times off camera, but we have talked a couple times about the fact that they have a pretty easy remaining schedule. And actually, I think you said statistically the easiest, right?
Statistically, they have the easiest strength of schedule remaining. So
yeah, so
I expect a big playoff push from them.
They're a half game behind San Antonio right now, I think it is, in the standings.
Yeah,
half
game behind the standings.
I think they're 8th. I think I looked at it earlier, and I want to say they were 8th in the division, half game behind San Antonio, and like 2.5 games behind
Portland.
Yeah.
So as it sits right now, they're the 8th seed, 22 and 19, but I think they're about to hit their stride and play their best basketball. They're half game behind the Spurs, 2.5 behind Portland, and 2.5 behind Denver, 4 behind LA Clippers, 3.5 behind the Lakers, 2 and the Suns. And so they can make a push here. They could even maybe push up into home court, but they'd have to catch the Clippers, which would be tough. Anyways. Yeah. I could see him sliding into 5 or 6 pretty easy, which I think we just want to avoid LA's teams. So if we get to 5 or 6, we might be playing them. But anyways, moving on. Let's go back to the past couple of days here. We'll take a look and we'll run it down real quick for you. The Pacers beat the Heat 109-106, and Adebayo had 29 points, 10 boards, and Miles Turner for Indy has 16 and 5.
That's from Sunday, right?
Correct. These are from Sunday.
Yeah,
that game went to overtime as well. We're just gonna run through these Sunday games real quick because I had to touch on my Mavs from Sunday. You know what I mean?
So. Yeah, no, hey, I'm just trying to make sure I like in my head, I'm just like I gotta make sure I'm on the same page here.
Yeah, Thunder outscored the Rockets 114-112, so pretty good win for them. Rockets are 11-30. My goodness.
The Thunder are 18-24, bro.
Correct, but the Rockets are 11-30. Ouch. No more Harden. So,
I'm not saying losing Harden hurt, but like did hurt.
Oh yeah, it hurt. Christian Wood put in for Houston, the center. He put in 27 points, 8 boards. So pretty good game there. Pelicans beat the Nuggets 113-108. Brandon Ingram had 30 for New Orleans. And Nikola Jokic had 29 and 10 and 10. So he had a 29-point triple-double for the Nuggets. Pretty amazing. I'd like to get that guy on the Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? Pair him up with Luka. Come on. Anyways,
Zion's averaging 25.7 points a game, by the way. I just looked it up because every time I see the Pelicans, all I can think about is Zion. Like every game involves some kind of Zion highlight.
Oh yeah.
And
he's rounding into form.
Yeah. He's turning like me. He's mound, rebound, but that man can jump. So
all right, real quick, Celtics beat the Magic 112-96. Celtics are 21-21. Expect them to have a little better record, but anyways, they get the win over the Magic. The Nets beat the Wizards, which you would hope they would, 113-106.
Still missing Durant now, aren't they? They're missing Durant again, right? With a hamstring, I think it is.
Yes, and Dinwiddie's out for the year. So
yeah, that's not great.
But if Durant gets healthy, they're a dangerous team. So Kyrie had 28 points, 7 boards, 6 assists. And Russell Westbrook had, for the Wizards in a losing effort, which is pretty normal, he had a triple-double in a loss, 29 points, 13 boards, 13 assists. So here we go. Cavs beat the Raptors 116-105. And Bills beat the Pistons 100-86. And then the last two here, we got 76ers beat the Knicks by 1 point, 101-100. And the Lakers lost to the Suns without LeBron James. I don't know if y'all saw, but LeBron James rolled his ankle inwards, which is a weird injury to come back from. Ouch. It's a little different than rolling it out.
Yeah, they're calling it a high ankle sprain.
But he is expected.
Yeah, they're calling it a high ankle sprain.
Interior, though.
But it is interior. That is definitely, if you've ever rolled your ankle before, the first thing everybody asks you, the first thing any medical professional is like, in or out? Like, did it go in or out? And you're like, out. And they're like, okay, good. We'll be fine.
Yeah, this one went in.
Yeah, that was not good.
It looked painful. LeBron tried to tough it out, but he went back to the locker room pretty quick. So, the Suns knocked the Lakers off 111-94, and the Suns are now 28-13, and the Lakers fall to 28-15.
Suns do look significant. Well, I don't want to say significantly improved, but like they just keep looking good, man. Like they just keep getting I feel like they're getting a little better every year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, young team starting to look better and better.
Yeah.
They're on the come up for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Getting into Monday's games, the Kings beat the Cavs 119-105. Those teams are kind of falling back in the standings, but De'Aaron Fox did have 30 points for the Kings. And then the Thunder played again. They won 112-103. So back-to-back wins for the Thunder. Gilgeous-Alexander put in 31 for OKC, and Karl-Anthony Towns had 33 and 10 in a loss. Minnesota's now 10-33. And then Hornets beat the Spurs 197, so that helps us out a little bit. Catch the Spurs. DeRozan had 28 points in the loss, and Hayward put in 27 for Charlotte. So that helps us a little bit. We get a little closer to San Antonio there. And then we got the Utah Jazz 120 over the Chicago Bulls 95. So the Bulls have now dropped to 19-23. They're kind of hanging around. Levine had 27 points and 7 boards for them, but Utah moves to 31-11.
Can anyone stop the Jazz, man? I mean, seriously, I know that they can lose a game, but man, it seems like every time I turn on the TV and they're playing, they look unbeatable. I mean, they really seem to look unbeatable to me. And I admittedly, I'm not a huge NBA guy, so I have to lean on you on this one. But golly, man, every time I watch them play, I'm just, Like,
yep,
Mitchell is a savage.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he plays with the biggest chip I've seen in a while, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, him and Gobert really kind of coming into it. They also got Mike Conley. Mike Conley had 15 points in 29 minutes, and Mitchell had 30 in 30 minutes. So Gobert also had 21 and 10 boards in 33 minutes. So flip back over here. Okay, finishing out Monday, Rockets beat the Raptors 117-99. So they come back and do get a win. Van Vliet had 27 for the Raptors, and Jason Tate had 22 for Houston. Then the Grizzlies, now 20-20, get a win over the Celtics, 21-22. So Celtics are kind of dropping some games. Jaylen Brown did have 27 points for the Celtics, but Ja Morant went for 29 and 5 boards with 9 assists. So Ja Morant's balling. And the last two we got here, Bucks win 140 to 113 over the Pacers. 140. Drew Holiday, let's look into the box here. Let's drill down. Drew Holiday had 28, 5 boards, and 14 assists. Let's look down and see what we had. Okay, so the Bucks, we had Middleton had 25, Holiday had 28, and I guess is Greek Freak. He's either sad or he's out. Is he out? I don't
think he's out. He's hurt right now.
Yeah, we need to touch on those, man. There's a lot of big injuries in the NBA. So, and then the last one here for Monday on the West Coast, the Clippers win 119 to 110 over the Hawks. The Hawks fall to 22-21. The Clippers move to 28-16. Kawhi had 25. Trae Young had 28 points in the loss. All right, so let's take a little look at this trade deadline rumors going around, because I sure would like the Mavs to make a little addition. Andre Drummond, get a little rebounding in here. Okay, so we'll take a little look real quick. Miami Heat remain active heading into the deadline. They have kept tabs on Kyle Lowry. So Miami Heat looking at Kyle Lowry. Be a pretty good pickup for them. Let's see if we can look through here real quick. A couple more. Several contenders have contacted the Cavs about JaVale McGee. So you see, also Aaron Gordon announced that he would like to be traded, and I think Orlando has put him on the trade block. So okay. Aaron Gordon, Mavericks. Oh, come on. All right. Okay, and the Houston Rockets, this is from March 17th, but I figured I'd touch on it. The Rockets are finalizing a deal to send PJ Tucker and Radonis Kurucs and a 2022 first-round pick to the Bucks for DJ Augustine and DJ Wilson, and a 2023 unprotected first-round pick. All right. And then also the Thunder finalizing a trade to send Ariza to the Heat for Myers Leonard and a 2027 second-round pick. That's from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. So it looks like Oklahoma City Thunder are just stockpiling picks. I believe they have like 30-something first and second round picks over the next 7 years. So I imagine they're going to package those things up and try to move up in the draft, try to get some trades for some big guys. Maybe if they're going to try to rebuild that thing. But they do have like over 30 picks, Gordon. You might check it out and see what they got. But
it's something stupid, man. I gotta be honest. 35. I got sidetracked because you started mentioning all these injuries, and I started looking at it. Oh my god!
Run it down for us.
Okay, so
LeBron's the big one.
I'm just gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go with this alphabetical order. So the Nets. I'm sorry, Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum is listed as day-to-day. He's got an illness. He didn't play tonight against Memphis. Tristan Thompson is out for them. I think that's a big deal. He's a center that definitely makes an impact for them. He's out with COVID-19 protocol. Kemba Walker's out, is listed as day-to-day. Dropping to the Brooklyn Nets. Harden, day-to-day. He's listed as questionable for tomorrow's game due to neck soreness. Kyrie Irving is out with a family issue. A personal matter. No further questions needed, Your Honor. Kevin Durant is out currently with a hamstring. He's expected to remain out for another 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks. That's a big loss. Obviously, LaMelo Ball is out. He's got
off for the year. Yep.
He's got a fractured bone in his right wrist. He's expected to miss the remainder of the season.
Oh yeah.
Thanks.
Kevin, on them big ones.
Yeah, I mean, Dellavedova is out. He didn't play against the Kings tonight. Kevin Love is listed out with a calf injury. I'm trying to look for big names here, but I mean, it started out so massive.
Yeah, we Obviously, know LaMelo. We know
Steph Curry
LeBron. Steph
is listed as day-to-day with a bruised tailbone, I believe is what they're called.
Klay Thompson still going to be out for them.
Oh God, man, I feel so bad for that guy.
What about what's it showing the Bucks? Does it have anything listed for Greek Freak?
Hold on. I'm still going in order here because like I keep seeing huge names pop up. Oladipo still listed as day-to-day for the Houston Rockets. Let's see. Clippers have Patrick Beverly listed as out. He didn't play Monday against Atlanta. Serge Ibaka was out against the Monday. You know, geez, you lost Ibaka and Patrick Beverly. LeBron James is out. He's expected to miss several weeks.
Yeah, I think April 6th is kind of the deadline or the timeline right now.
Marc Gasol is listed out. Is ruled out for Sunday's game versus the Suns. And there hasn't really been, a turn yet. Anthony Davis is still out. Davis could be sidelined for 3 more weeks and perhaps longer.
Yeah, Lakers are hurting right now.
Lakers are definitely hurting. Definitely hurting. That's big news. That is huge news in the West.
But I think they'll still make the playoffs, and so they really have nothing to worry about.
Will. They will.
It might help them 2 big guys get some rest. So
I think so. Miami Heat are missing Haslam, which I think for them is kind of a big loss. He's actually out for tomorrow. The Bucks have the Greek Freak. He did not play. He's got a knee injury. I believe it is a strained knee, if I'm not wrong. But I don't know how long that's actually going to hold him out. He's listed as day-to-day. Take that for what you will. I mean, I feel like a strained knee is either like, okay or not. Timberwolves, they got a couple injuries, nothing major. Obviously, the Pelicans are missing Lonzo Ball. JJ Redick is out. He's out tomorrow against the Lakers. They play the Lakers tomorrow. So Lonzo Ball is listed as questionable for Tuesday's game against the Lakers for the Pelicans. Let's see. Derrick Rose is obviously out for the Knicks. Let's talk about a guy that's dealt with some injuries, man. Like, you just want him to get like all the good things going his way. Let's see here. The Magic, they got some Mo Bamba's listed as day-to-day with a hamstring injury. Seth Curry for the former Mav. There you go, bud. He's day-to-day with an ankle injury. He's going to be out tomorrow against the Warriors. Joel Embiid obviously out for the year. Some serious injury there. Gotta love a knee injury, right? That's tongue in cheek, man.
They got Greek Freak out till maybe tomorrow, so it's a knee.
Yeah.
It's kind of nursing him probably.
Yeah, that's what it kind of sounds like. Lamarcus Aldridge out for the Spurs. He's listed as day-to-day. Although apparently he's out. Like he's leaving the squad. Apparently they've agreed to part ways.
Okay.
Which is kind of a big deal. And then that's gonna be about it. But
yeah, on Thursday, Gary Harris got hurt for Denver. He's expected to be out till April 1st. So
yeah. So I mean, these are some big name players in the league that are definitely hurt. That make impacts in games.
Cam Reddish got hurt on the 15th for Atlanta, and he's expected to be out till April 15th. And Jared Dudley for the Lakers also out for the Lakers until April 22nd is showing. So
yeah, some big losses.
Unfortunate, but NBA rolls on.
Yeah. Pro sports rolls on, man. Whew, that's how it goes, right?
Yes, sir.
Hopefully all these guys get healthy. Man, I'm a firm believer that sports in general are better when everybody's playing. You know what I mean? The
Yes,
more people
sir.
that are playing, the better the product is. College, football, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, women's, any sports, men's or women's. The better player, the better the product on the court, the field, the pitch,
The
the
pitch.
diamond.
Don't leave the pitch out.
The better the sport is for it, right? Like,
Yeah.
if I watch two amazing baseball teams go at it, but half of their teams are are on the sideline, or in the dugout, or however, judging by the field itself, it just degrades the product some, and it's less enjoyable for everybody, not only the teams, but for as a fan. So,
Yeah, I
man,
think the NBA, the NBA had a little problem with that with the rest games. People buy a ticket
yeah,
to go see the Warriors come into town. Not singling them out, but every team does it. The Clippers, for instance,
yeah, Clippers did it.
Mavs fans will go, "Hey, I want to go watch the Clippers. I buy a ticket for this game." They sit Kawhi and Paul George for this happened a year ago, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think the NBA is working on stuff to try to address that. But there's your NBA rundown. Mavs making a push, baby. We're gonna jump over to NFL. So, like we said, the official league year has rolled over.
We are now in the official new league year.
It's 2021 as far as the NFL is concerned now. And so
a little while, but we got here.
Yeah, a lot of these things are going to be official now. You might have heard some of these already, but these are now official. We'll just go through, last couple of days what became official. So these are the trades that are now official. We got Ryan Finley from the Bengals to the Texans, and quarterback Matt Stafford from the Lions to the Rams. I'm sure everyone knows about that. The guard Gabe Jackson from the Raiders to the Seahawks traded.
Yep.
And then let's see, it's touching some bigger ones here. Jared Goff also went from the Rams to the Lions in that Stafford trade. Tackle Marcus Cannon traded from the Patriots to the Texans. And Trent Brown, the tackle from the Raiders, moves to the Patriots.
Okay.
Then Shaq Lawson from the Dolphins to the Texans.
Okay.
Michael Brockers from the Rams to the Lions. I kind of wish the Cowboys would have made a play there for Brockers. Pretty good pass rusher there.
If I'm honest with you, I feel like the Cowboys have made runs at several people, just kind of as we go. It's like, yeah, that guy would have been good. I understand. Yeah. I understand that Jerry's playing chess and I'm probably playing checkers, but sometimes
there's no need to circumcise a mosquito here, Gordon.
And that'd be speculation, but the answer would be yes.
Yep, we got lots of Jerryisms for you guys. But I guess finishing up real quick right here. Like I said, Michael Brockers from the Rams to the Lions also. And Malcolm Brown, the DT from the Saints, was traded to the Jaguars. I would like to see maybe the Cowboys make a play there too. They could use a guy like that. And then the linebacker Bernard McKinney from the Texans. The linebacker Bernard McKinney from the Texans traded to the Dolphins. He's been in the Texans for a long time there. So that's pretty big news there on the trades that have become official. But on these signings right here, we're going to hit the big ones. There's a few for the Cowboys we're going to hit on. But the Bills signed an unrestricted free agent. The Cowboys signed Ty. I believe this is Nishke, is how you say it. He's a tackle from Buffalo originally.
I think it's Nishke.
Yeah, Nishke. I think the Cowboys picked him up. And then with the Bucks. And then we have Dante Moncrief moving from the Patriots to the Texans. They signed him unrestricted. Carlos Hyde went from Seattle to Jacksonville. And the Jets pick up Tyler Kroft, the tight end from the Bills, and they also signed Lamarcus Joyner. Cowboys also picked up the defensive end. They list him as a defensive end, but he's going to play tackle here. So he would be like a 3-4 defensive end, but he's definitely going to play inside for the Cowboys. Carlos Watkins from the Texans to the Cowboys. Cowboys pick him up.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, another big one here. Marvin Jones, the wide receiver from the Lions. The Jaguars actually went and signed him. So Taco Charlton re-upped with the Chiefs. I think it's for another 1-year deal, but good for you, Taco. Didn't work out too good here, but
hey, go get your ring, bud.
Huh?
Go get your ring. I mean, that's literally what it comes down to for him. Like,
oh yeah,
hey man, why wait till the end of your career to chase a ring? You know what I mean?
yeah.
These guys get paid millions of dollars. I respect anybody chasing a ring at any time in their career. I don't think you necessarily have to wait to the end.
Right on. Philip Dorsett moves from the Seahawks to the Jags. Also, Tyrod Taylor gets signed by the Texans. So, leaving San Diego to go make another team. Every time Tyrod Taylor goes somewhere, they end up getting a better quarterback, and it works out better for them. So, but
his name's actually Tyrod. His name's actually Tyrod.
Excuse me, Tyrod. Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I just have to correct it because I watched Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. Yeah, my bad.
And listen. Here's the deal. Let me just say really quickly. I'm glad Cleveland won some games. I'm glad they made the playoffs. Low key wanted Tyrod to be the guy. Like after watching Hard Knocks, low key. Here's the deal.
Yeah, but
as
Herbert,
a tech guy,
bro.
as a tech guy, not a huge Baker fan. I would like to talk to Baker one day because I think Baker's very talented. I respect his enthusiasm. I respect his energy.
You just salty, bro.
Nah, it's not salty. I'm just curious. I want to know what happened.
You should have put a ring on it. Should have put a ring on it.
Listen, we ended up with Mahomes out of that deal. Okay, bro.
Should have put a ring on old Baker. He win a Heisman at Oklahoma. But hey, the same can be said.
Who has a ring in the NFL?
My boy Kyler Murray was at A&M, and it was wonderful.
Ring in the NFL?
And then he's like, you know what? You guys ain't gonna put a ring on it. I'm gonna go win a Heisman at Oklahoma.
That's kind of Oklahoma's MO, bro. If I'm honest with you, they just go, hey, listen, we're not gonna go get a good quarterback fresh out of high school and make him into something. We're gonna take something that somebody else has already polished, but they're not happy where they are, and we're just gonna shine them up just right. We're gonna send them out. Sir.
All right, touching up on them real quick. There's more of these free agent signings. The Browns re-signed Rashard Higgins, wide receiver. So he's staying in Cleveland. And
inevitably.
The Titans re-signed Ty Sambrailo, which is the offensive tackle. And the Seahawks keep Ethan Pocic, the guard. They re-sign him. Let's take a look right here real quick. Browns keep Cody Parkey, re-sign him. So they got him a boink kicker. Is that the boink kicker from Chicago?
I really don't.
I think it is.
I think it is, but I don't want to. I don't want to say that he is because I don't want to put that on anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But anyways, Cowboys also pick up a defensive end, Brent Urban from the Bears.
Ooh, I just got chills because I'm 100% sure it is him. Like he's the boink kicker. Because there's literally like one of the first pictures of him. If you Google him, by the way,
boink.
There's a bunch of pictures and there's pictures of him in Chicago uniforms and he looks pretty disappointed. You're like, yikes. Also, if you Google him, can I just say really quickly, if you Google him, one of his pictures has to be from him at Auburn. Man, he looks young. Dude looks young.
He's still baby-faced.
No, he is. I mean, he's 29. He's not an old guy. We still got a few years on him, a few pounds too, but that's fine.
Oh yeah, we got a few pounds on him.
Oh yeah.
Okay, some more bigger ones here. The Cowboys, actually, I'm gonna touch on pretty much anyone the Cowboys signed. They pick up Terrell Basham from the Jets, outside linebacker Terrell Basham from the Jets. So we got him. Y'all probably know already that Mitch Trubisky went to the Bills.
I think it's a big move. I think it's interesting that Trubisky took a backseat deal. I think he's taking the Andy Dalton route, if I'm honest with you.
He's ready to hold the clipboard and make money anyways.
Well, I think it's
get me out of the limelight. I just want to hold the clipboard
and get my
game plan, get my meal.
But I think it's between that. But I also think he looks at I think there's a lot going on in the QB world right now. And I think he's looking at what happened with Dalton. Because let's not forget last year, Dalton took a 1-year deal with the Cowboys and everybody was like, I don't know if this is a good move. And I'm like, bro, Tom Brady was on the market. Jerry Jones considered selling his soul for the third time to sell Tom Brady. Like everybody considered Tom. Everybody was like, "Hey, we gotta go after Tom Brady because it's Tom Brady." I And Andy was like, hey, listen, nobody really wants me. So I'm going to sign a backup deal with the Cowboys. I'm going to go home for a year and I'm going to hang out with my fam and live my life in Texas where God is great and people are good.
Oh, and God bless Texas.
Every day. And I think Trubisky's taking a page out of the guy who replaced him, if I'm honest with you. I really think he's just like, hey, I saw what Dalton did and I like it. I'm here for it.
Also, you anti-Texans out there, or excuse me, anti-Texas, like you Northeasterners, go ahead and you can drop us a comment if you want to try to bash on us, but you'll get it right back. I'm sure you're tired of the Texas talk, but it's how we roll, man. We're better than you. Get over it. Okay, so
we think we are anyway. Well, unless
don't back off. We don't back off.
Well, unless snow comes through. That's my only real back off.
Okay, fair enough.
If we get snow, it's game over, man.
Fair enough. Still better than you. Better. Anyways, Patrick Peterson agreed to a 1-year deal with the Vikings. I kind of wish the Cowboys would have made a move here too. I mean, Patrick Peterson might be washed, but he signed a 1 year, $10 million. I think it was a $10 million deal with the Vikings.
It's not even that. It's the leadership, man. The leadership and the knowledge.
He can help our corners quite a bit, I think.
Oh my goodness, especially because we need some new young corners. I think that Patrick Peterson was definitely a guy the Cowboys needed. That leadership ability, that ability to step into a locker room and everybody go, I want to listen to what this motherfucker has to say.
That's the dude, yeah.
That's the guy. Like, nobody's questioning what he can do. Nobody's like, hey, is he really? No. Shut up. I would liken Patrick Peterson to what Jarvis Landry was able to do in the Cleveland Browns. So you go back a few years and watch the Hard Knocks with Cleveland Browns, and you listen to the Jarvis Landry speech, if you will, in the wide receiver room. Jarvis Landry goes off. If you haven't seen it, please Google it. I'm sure it's out there still for free. Jarvis Landry takes these grown-ass men to church, and he blesses them. And he tells them, y'all need to be ready. Quit being out here bullshitting. It's time to go to work. I'm not here to lose. I'm here to win. And I think Patrick Peterson has that. But Jarvis Landry
I would have wanted him for the 10-year. For the 1 year.
No, definitely. I would have taken him for multiple. But like, just his ability to step into a room and say, hey, cut your bullshit. And somebody go, yeah, okay, you're Patrick Peterson. I'm not going to argue with you. Right. Like, that there's a certain level that you have to be so good in the NFL for that to actually happen. It's like when Tom Brady walked into the Tampa Bay Buccaneer locker room and he said, hey, this is what we're going to do. Everybody was like, yeah, okay. Because he's Tom Brady. Like, who's arguing with that? And I think Patrick Peterson holds that. I think Jarvis Landry held that. I think there's a reason Jarvis Landry stood up in that locker room and in that meeting room and said, hey, this is important. If you're not hurt, be on the field and be ready to work. It's time to go to work. There's a certain je ne sais quoi that has to happen to get you to that point in the NFL. You have to prove your mettle. Not everybody gets to do that. Not everybody can do that. But I think Patrick Peterson is a guy that can. And I would have
the Cowboys.
Man, I think the Cowboys would have benefited great. I think any team is going to benefit greatly from that, but I think the Cowboys definitely would have, if I'm honest with you.
Right on. We got a couple big ones here we want to touch on. Then we'll touch on a Cowboys signing, which I'm going to dive into a little bit. It's not going to make national news. It won't even make hardly Cowboy news, but it's a big deal to me. I'll tell you about it. But first, we're going to let you know Kenyon Drake leaving the Cardinals, going to the Raiders. So I kind of like that. So we'll see how he does there with Jacobs over there in Oakland. And then also
a big one, yeah.
Giants signed Kenny Galladay from the Lions.
I think it's a big deal. I really think that's a big
Kenny Galladay's a baller, so
he is. He absolutely is.
They needed a guy like that, big tall guy, and go get it because they do have Sterling Shepard and
yep.
So that's a good signing by them. I give the Giants props. That's a good one for them to go get.
I'm
Gerald Everett.
Not a big Giants guy, but they're quietly putting together a pretty solid squad. Quietly, a pretty solid squad. I'm not going to say they're going to be great.
Yeah, I mean that helps.
But they're solid. They definitely have the ability to be a solid squad here.
That definitely helps them.
Yeah, for sure.
And it also emphasizes that the Cowboys really need to address this secondary situation they have going on. So
100% agree there. 100%.
And then also Gerald Everett, the tight end from the Rams, he ends up going to the Seattle Seahawks.
I think that's a huge signing for the Seahawks.
I think he can help out there. So
yeah, they definitely need some help. They really like their tight ends to have a good tight end group, and they currently don't.
Yeah, and Will Fuller to the Dolphins. Man, I can't talk tonight. I apologize, guys, but Will Fuller from the Texans to the Dolphins, and then we have to talk about a very important Cowboy signing, because the Cowboys signed long snapper Jake Mcquaid, and that doesn't sound like a very big deal, but you Cowboys fans know that we have had LP Ladouceur here since 2005. So
for a while,
we need to tip our hat to LP Ladouceur for being with the Dallas Cowboys for so long. Even though he was a long snapper, it might not seem important to anybody, but we didn't have a lot of snap problems with that guy here. So
no, very few.
Marks the LP Ladouceur the end of his tenure with the Dallas Cowboys. Been here since 2005. So
before we graduated from high school, bro.
16 years for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
so
before we graduated from high school.
And he says he still wants to play. So hopefully he lands somewhere and he's happy.
I was just thinking that. I hope, I really hope that somebody picks him up. And I honestly, man, as someone who has watched him and appreciated his consistency, because there's something to be said for a long snapper. They're either unacknowledged or they are much maligned. I think in the NFL especially. I hope he gets to go to a place like, the Buffalo Bills or someplace that, go chase your ring, bud. You earned it for sure. You've been in the league 16 years. You've been consistent as hell. You've definitely put your time in. Go get your ring.
Yep, for sure. And then I'm going to touch on a couple of waivers that, there's not a whole lot of news here, but for Cowboys fans, you'll recognize these names. Brett Maher was released by the Arizona Cardinals. If y'all don't know, that was other boy.
That other boy.
Maherwich.
We got a Maherwich.
The other boy over there. He got released. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn for the Dallas Cowboys, but
that was supposed
I don't want to rejoice in a man losing his job, but
never.
Hopefully he gets another shot and gets it together. But
I think he will. I think he will. I think he'll get another shot. I think he's not untalented, right? Like, he is a talented guy. I think he just sometimes things just don't work out in your favor. I mean, look at the Cowboys roster over the last 10 years. Plenty of talent there, just didn't work out the way you wanted.
Last before we wrap it up, y'all will remember this name. The Cowboys fans will. John Vea Johnson, who had some shines in preseason for the Dallas Cowboys. He was waived by the Cowboys, but good news for him, he was assigned via waivers to Jacksonville Jaguars. So he's going to get a little started in Jacksonville.
A lot of things happening down in Duval County.
They're adding pieces in Duval.
They are going after pieces in Duval.
But now, if you didn't know, now you know. So catch us again on our next show. Probably be in a couple of days. We'll put something else out. We'll get you all cut up on all the news around sports.
Check out both of our
sports.
Check out all the sports news.
Check
me out on my personal YouTube at Gordon Lewis. I post stuff every couple days. Kind of working on that, getting some stuff going. Every Sunday, I'm going to do kind of a breakdown of what's happening over the week. It's pretty short.
It's on Gordon's channel.
Yeah.
Also, we're gonna put some mock drafts out. I might do some solo mock drafts where we might run through 2 or 3 of them and fix the Cowboys defense real quick. If you want me to do a mock draft on your team, hit us in the comments or hit us an email, seambusterpodcast@gmail.com, and we can run through a mock draft for your team, and we will put it out on the waves and make good things happen for your team. Unless you're the Philadelphia Eagles, we will not do it.
No, we'll fix the Eagles too, because the Eagles aren't going to listen to us either way. So there's something like oddly satisfying about fixing a team, knowing full well that they're going to ignore everything that you say, and then watching them remain, not winning.
And you know what they might do, Gordon? They might just fire their Super Bowl winning head coach. They might do that.
There's been a lot of conversation about all that. Yeah. Oh, you won a Super Bowl? We don't care. You won the first Super Bowl in franchise history? We don't care.
I can already hear the cheesesteak heads up there. They're like, "Oh, that was Frank Reich over there. It's over at Indy now. Peterson had to go. He was a bum. Peterson had to go. He's a bum. Brotherly love, my ass."
Yeah, we'll see. All right, folks, hit the comments. Let us know what we did wrong.
Love you, Eagles fans. JK, love you. Love beating you guys.
Let us know what we did wrong. Let us know what we did right. Like, subscribe, ring the bell.
Yeah.
We'll catch you on the flip side, folks.
Eagles fans, come at me, bro. Come at me.
Bye con Dios.
Adios and bye con Dios.